December 4th, and US Southern Command, at the direction of Secretary of War Pete Hegseth, so says the post to social media, conducted a lethal kinetic strike on a vessel in international waters operated by a designated terrorist organization. 4 male narco-terrorists aboard the vessel were killed.
To date, there have been a total of 21 kinetic strikes on drug boats in our hemisphere, with 82 narco-terrorists killed.
Admiral, General, what's your message to the American people?
This latest strike comes just one day after a closed hearing on Capitol Hill investigating whether the Trump administration fired on defenseless survivors of a drug boat in the Caribbean on September 2nd. And while details suggest this story is less than it initially appeared, the episode still carries lessons about command accountability and larger questions about the Trump war in the Caribbean.
Is this a war? If it's a war, how come we don't have a war powers resolution? If it's not a war, how come you're able to kill people? None of this has been adequately explained to Congress, much less to all of you or the American people, and yet we're out in the middle of Latin America just killing a bunch of people.
But to start, the Washington Post's allegation that Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth had ordered US forces to kill everybody on the boat.
We get press queries like we do from all of you. We told them this story was completely fake news on Thanksgiving evening with a 3-hour deadline, and they still published it anyway.
Speaking to Congress behind closed doors December 4th, Admiral Frank Mitch Bradley said the boat survivors were attempting to continue their drug run and thus still considered combatants.
Admiral Bradley was very clear that he was given no such order, not to give no quarter or to kill them all. He was given an order that, of course, was written down in great detail, as our military always does.
But was there a vocal order as well?
There was no vocal order either.
That should now end accusations that what happened amounted to a war crime by Mr. Hegseth. Rather, the story looks far more like a senior commander making a difficult but informed choice with the orders, battlefield information, and legal framework to hand.
Admiral Bradley and the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff did the right thing. Admiral Bradley defended the decisions taken.
What has been notable, however, is Mr. Hegseth's response in recent days, not least speaking in the final presidential cabinet meeting of the year.
I watched that first strike live. As you can imagine, at the Department of War, we got a lot of things to do. So I didn't stick around for the hour and 2 hours, whatever, where all the sensitive site exploitation digitally occurs. So I moved on to my next meeting. A couple of hours later, I learned that commander had made which he had the complete authority to do, and by the way, Admiral Bradley made the correct decision to ultimately sink the boat and eliminate the threat.
It's a response that smacks of an attempt to shift scrutiny to a military officer who can't defend his decisions in public.
Mr. Secretary, on the second strike, you said it happened more than an hour after the first strike.
I couldn't tell you the exact amount of time.
Minutes, or you had left the room?
I already stated my answer quite clearly.
The problem with this is that it sends a message to other officers that they'll be on their own should future missions run into trouble or warrant scrutiny.
At the end of the day, the Secretary and the President are the ones directing these strikes, and any follow-on strikes like those which were directed by Admiral Bradley, the Secretary 100% agrees with.
But if what Ms. Wilson says is the case, then surely it means producing a factual report for Congress and the public to inspect.
The legal opinion underlying this whole policy actions, frankly, needs to be released publicly.
One reason that this episode is blown up is that the administration isn't explaining the aims of its war in the Caribbean.
As we think about these actions against these drug traffickers, and they are threats, but the characterizations that have been made, we have to do that in a thoughtful way. And then as we still think about, this enormous flotilla we've got off the coast of Venezuela, when we still have not got any articulation of what the plan or policy is.
Americans are open to getting tougher on drug cartels, and the president's powers to conduct foreign policy deserve a wide berth.
Every single boat that you see getting taken out kills 25,000 Americans.
But the administration will have to start explaining why it's asking men and women like Admiral Bradley to open fire.